Somewhere under the ruins of a dead world, 10,000 people live inside a hole in the ground. They think the rules keep them safe. They are wrong. There's a switch. One switch. And if the wrong person pulls it, every single one of them dies in their sleep. It is called the safeguard. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly how it works, who controls it, and why Season 3 just changed everything we thought we knew about it. This is Silo. Let's get into it. The word safeguard shows up quietly. No dramatic music. No warning. Just a decoded letter written by a man named Salvador Quinn, read by a nervous IT worker named Lucas Kyle. One line. They created the safeguard. That's it. That's all we get at first. But Lucas is smart enough to know that founders don't build fail-safes for fun. If they wrote down a plan to stop a rebellion before it starts, that plan is not a memo. It's a weapon. So Lucas does what any of us would do. He goes looking for the tunnels the letter points to. And he finds a door. A massive one, guarding whatever the safeguard actually is. Here's where the show stops playing nice. The second Lucas gets near that door, a voice answers him. Subtitles call it the algorithm. It doesn't threaten him with guards or guns. It threatens him with something worse. It tells him that if he repeats what he's about to learn, the safeguard will activate. Let that sink in for a second. A silo isn't threatened with punishment for one person's curiosity. It's threatened with total wipeout. That single warning tells you everything about the scale of this thing. The safeguard isn't a prison sentence. It's an extinction button, and it's sitting under Silo 18 the entire time, waiting that we don't get the full mechanics until Juliette is about to leave Silo 17. Solo, the last living resident of that dead silo, suddenly remembers something buried in his own home. A note, written by someone who worked the very system that almost ended his world. He tells Juliette exactly how it works. Somewhere outside every silo, connected through a hidden pipe, there's a source of poison gas. Flip the switch, and that gas floods straight into the silo's air supply. No warning, no escape route. Every person breathing that recycled air is gone within a short window of time. This is the founder's final answer to rebellion. Obey the rules, or your entire underground world gets erased and reset. It's brutal in its simplicity, and that's exactly what makes it terrifying. There's no negotiation built into this system. There's only compliance or deletion. And once Juliette hears this, she doesn't waste a second. She sprints back towards Silo 18, because she knows her people might already be standing on the edge of that reset. Now here's the part that keeps fan forums busy at 2 in the morning. The algorithm isn't just a passive alarm system. Silo Season 2 makes it clear that this thing actively watches behavior patterns inside a silo, then decides whether that silo has earned the right to keep existing. That's not typical software behavior. That's judgment. And judgment implies something closer to a mind than a machine. Look at what happens right at the end of Season 2. The algorithm appears to hand leadership of Silo 18 to Camille, practically promoting her on the spot. That's not a random selection. That's an entity that has been quietly profiling her for who knows how long, waiting for the right moment to install her. Then there's the number Bernard drops almost casually. 51 silos. 51 separate populations, all being run under the same invisible rulebook. It's hard not to wonder if there's one central silo tucked away somewhere where actual human beings sit behind screens, reading reports the algorithm feeds them before making the final call on which silos live and which ones get erased. If that's true, the algorithm isn't the villain. It's the messenger. The real decision-makers might be a small group of people who never show their faces, hiding behind a system that takes the blame for them. Good news, if you can call it that. The safeguard has a weakness, and Solo hands it straight to Juliette. Block the pipe. That's the whole plan. If you can physically seal off the tube feeding poison into the ventilation system, the entire kill switch becomes useless. Solo doesn't walk through exactly how his silo managed it, but knowing Juliette, that detail barely matters. She spent the entire series solving problems most engineers would call impossible. A block pipe is basically a warm-up exercise for her. He also gives her the location. Level 14. Since every silo appears to share the same blueprint, that's almost certainly where the same pipe sits in Silo 18 too. Solo actually tries to walk her down there himself, but tremors from an explosion back in Silo 18's mechanical department cut the trip short, and he sends her home before it's too late. This is where the story gets personal instead of just technical. Solo mentions that his own mother worked on level 14. On the day his Silo's rebellion boiled over, she never came home. Put those two facts together, and there's a strong chance she died trying to do exactly what Juliette is about to attempt, blocking that same pipe, buying her people time, and paying for it with her life. Solo also drops something even bigger. His father apparently found a way to make the outside world survivable. And for a moment, it worked. His Silo's people stepped outside and didn't immediately drop dead. But that moment of hope didn't last. A wave of toxic dust rolled in right after, and it killed everyone who had just walked out. That detail alone raises a huge question mark over how reliable any fix to this system really is, and Season 3 picks that thread right back up. If you want the deepest layer of this mystery, you have to go back to Hugh Howey's original novels, because they spell out something the show has only hinted at. The actual kill mechanism isn't just gas. It's nanobots. Microscopic machines designed to shut a body down fast once they're triggered. Those same nanobots, mixed with argon, sit inside every Silo's airlock chamber too. That's the real reason cleaners with a faulty suit die so quickly once they step outside. It's not just the environment. It's a built-in enforcement system layered on top of the environment. But here's the twist buried in the books that changes how we should read Solo's story. Those nanobots aren't fixed in purpose. They can be reprogrammed. Instead of killing, they can heal, which means Solo's father may have actually cracked that reprogramming, at least partially. His people walking outside safely for a few moments wasn't luck. It might have been proof his fix was working, right up until the dust that hit them turned out to still carry the deadly version. That's an important distinction going into Season 3, because it means the show isn't just asking, how do we stop the safeguard? It's quietly asking, can humanity actually undo hundreds of years of engineered death, or will every fix eventually fail the same way? And this is where things get genuinely exciting, because Silo Season 3 isn't just continuing the story. It's splitting it in two. One half stays with Juliette, who survives her ordeal but comes back with serious memory loss, unable to fully recall what she learned about the safeguard, the pipe, or any of it. That alone is a clever storytelling move, because it puts the audience ahead of the main character for the first time. We remember what she doesn't. The other half jumps back roughly 3.5 centuries into what the show calls the before times. New characters, a journalist named Helen and a congressman named Daniel Keene, start pulling on threads tied to the actual construction of the silos and the disaster that made them necessary in the first place. This storyline is adapted from Howey's second novel, which was actually written as a prequel. So for the first time, the show has enough source material to show us exactly how humanity ended up trading the surface of the planet for a hole in the ground. Season 3 premiered in July 2026, running 10 episodes on a weekly schedule in early September, and it's already been confirmed that the story continues into a fourth and final season. So this isn't a mystery that's going to get stretched out forever. There's an actual ending coming. Put those pieces together, and you get a much bigger question than will Juliette block the pipe in time? You get, was the safeguard always meant to be permanent, or was it built as a temporary failsafe by people who assumed someone eventually would find a way to turn it off for good.s, oh, that's the safeguard, from a single decoded sentence to a poison pipe on level 14, to nanobots that can either kill a population or heal it, depending on who's holding the controls. It's one of the smartest slow-burn reveals in modern sci-fi television, because every answer just hands you a bigger question. If you want more breakdowns like this as Season 3 keeps rolling out new episodes, subscribe and turn on notifications, because this mystery is nowhere near finished. Drop your own theory on who's really behind the algorithm in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.